Hi everyone, welcome to the Building Point Australia SketchUp channel, and welcome back to Go Beyond SketchUp. Before we go any further, I just want to make clear that the title that we've chosen for this series, Go Beyond SketchUp, is intended in a way that we want to go beyond the basics. We want to know a little bit more about the tools and process in SketchUp. Maybe you're already familiar with the software, but the idea behind this series is that you get a little bit more and hopefully make you a better user in terms of 3D models. With that being said, welcome back to the second video of Chapter 1, Back to Basics. And in this video, we're gonna talk about navigating in SketchUp. In my opinion, one of the great features of SketchUp is that it always allows you to navigate in 3D space. Of course, you can save some scenes to have your standard views like in other softwares, but for me, the most important thing when I'm designing is just to be able to see my designs in a 3D environment. For that reason, I think that it's very important to talk about the navigation tools. I think the navigation tools are the tools that you are going to use the most, even more than the drawing tools and the editing tools. Navigation tools, I can assure you, are the ones that you're going to use all the time. In particular, we're going to talk about the orbit tool, the zoom tool, and the pan tool. For the purpose of this video, we're gonna focus talking about a 3-button mouse. And of course, it is possible to use a SketchUp with a 2-button mouse, with a trackpad, even with your finger or your stylus if you're using an iPad. But in general terms, and for people that have been using SketchUp for a long time, I think that we all can agree that the 3-button mouse is the best way to use SketchUp. And when I'm talking about a 3-button mouse, I mean the 2 buttons and the scroll wheel that acts also like a 3rd button. One really cool thing about the navigation tools is that allows you to use them while you're in a command, of any command. So for instance, if I wanted to modify this element, I can go, if I want to push pull it, for instance, I can push pull, click once, and then I can orbit around, I can zoom in and out, I can pan, and notice that my push-pull command is still active. So that's a very cool thing. You don't have to lose that command in order to navigate through your model. Navigating with your mouse is very simple. If you want to zoom, you just have to scroll the wheel on your mouse. So if you scroll up, scroll down, zoom in and zoom out, as you can see. Notice that the point under your cursor, like if I put my cursor right in here and I roll my wheel, that's going to be the center of my zoom. So just keep that in mind. Wherever my cursor is, that's going to become the center of my zoom. So in here, I'm going to choose that point. I'm going to get close to that point, scroll up, and I'm zooming in to that point. To orbit, the only thing that you need to do is press and hold your scroll wheel in your mouse, and then you can move around your model. One thing to keep in mind though is that the point in which you click, let's say I'm gonna click in that intersection of the axis, I'm gonna press my scroll wheel, that becomes the handle in which my model is gonna spin. So if I click something like in here, my model is gonna spin in relation to that point. And finally, the pan tool, when you're orbiting, if you press the shift key, you can pan your model. Double click while you're doing that. If you're panning and you double click, that point that you select will become the center of your view. So if you double click, keep in mind you're pressing the shift key, and I'm gonna double click with my wheel in the middle of this circle. That becomes the center of my view. Just as a final note, and before we go, is worth to mention that Zoom Extends is another navigation tool that you're gonna be able to use. And what the Zoom Extend does is, by clicking in there, all your elements in your view just fits the size of your view, basically. It's worth to mention it, but also remember it's not assigned. You can't assign it to any of your buttons in your mouse. So you can certainly create a shortcut for it, or go and click it in your large tool set, but it's not something that you're going to find assigned to the buttons of your mouse. So that concludes the second video of this chapter, and I hope you like it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you like this video, please press like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.